on YouTube? It's ChiHammer's Fantasy Battle Report 10. I got another battle report for you today. It's ETC 2017 Round 4 in Salamanca, Spain. And not only is it in Salamanca, Spain, we are playing Spain. Can you believe that? Now, I am playing against Danny Camargo. And Danny Camargo is the, I'm assuming, one of the top tier Orc and Goblin players in Spain. And the reason why I say assuming is because Spain is an extremely competitive country, that they have so many players that it dwarfs the number of players in the United States. I mean, dwarfs it. The couple days before ESC, which was the singles tournament, there was the Spanish Team Championships, and in the Spanish Team Championships there was like it looked like the ETC. It looked like there was just so many tables filled with small teams of 4 players who were playing for Spain. And yeah, that's just crazy. That's a crazy amount of players. Anyways, before I start rambling on and just going over how many players Spain has, let's go over what our matches look like. So we actually played this from right to left. I know you guys see it from left to right, but from right to left. And you can see my card right now. I got Orcs and Goblins versus Orcs and Goblins. I threw myself out for breakthrough. I had a theory that if we had our beast player hold back for secure target, and then we would take breakthrough for myself. I was feeling confident. I was feeling like, haha, it's breakthrough. I go walk across the table. I got this shit. I've been practicing all ESC because I kept getting breakthrough as my scenario. So you can see our demon player got Dwarven Hold, our infernal dwarf player got Vermin Swarm, our empire player got the Vampire Counts, our infernal dwarf player, our beast player got Infernal Dwarves. My brother, the Ogres, got Kingdom of Ecotane. That one was really interesting because it was a peasant list versus a Stratapult list. So that one we really wanted to see how it played out. I wanted to see how it played out. And I think he did really well, actually. He ended up getting 13 points. He would have got 17 points, but some bullshit happened at the end, I believe it was. Not bullshit, like, not that player was cheating or anything. It's just, like, bad roll bullshit. Anyways, our Dwarven player got Ogre Cons, and then Charlie, our Vampire player, got Demon Legions. That was the one match we wanted to avoid, and it ended up going that way anyways. And that was just bad luck of the draw, to be honest. Anyways, let's go over magic really quick. I got Enveloping Embers, Flaming Swords. I got Pyroclastic Flow, Scorching Salvo, and then I also got for my Witchcraft Bewitching Glare, Wheel Turns, and the Raven's Wing. My opponent also had Pyromancy, and he had similar spells. I also have Smash 'em Flat and the Wog. Just cards ready. For my opponent here, as you can see, this is his army. He has 2 spiders. He has a giant block of Orcs. He has a couple blocks of Cave Goblins. He has maxed out War Machines. Well, not maxed out. He has the 2 Doom Divers, 1 Splatterer. Now, when I looked at his list, I automatically saw 2 warlords. He has an Orc warlord on a Wyvern with Blessed Swords and whatever else. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, I could. That one's going to be an issue, but I could win based on combat res with my Goblin block. But then I saw a second warlord, and I'm like, shit, he has a double Wyvern warlord thing, but the other one's feral. So when I took this matchup, I was so confident, that I could shoot that feral Orc warlord off of his Wyvern because he doesn't have that good of an armor save. He doesn't. So I'm thinking to myself, if I could just take him out, then I'll take out a good chunk of his damage potential, right? Well, here's my mistake about that, is I didn't look to see what mount he was on. And when he got to the table, all of a sudden I realized there is no second Wyvern. I was like, shit. Oh man, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, this game is a hell of a game. It is one of the funnest games I've ever had. At the same time, it was one of the most intense games I've ever had. And guys, check out the table. So as you can see right here, we deployed, it was attacker defender scenario. So I ended up getting the big flanks. He got the big center. He picked the big center. I believe we're playing breakthrough. That's right. And he deploys his whole army so he could take advantage of the shooting turn 1, which I get. I understand that. Now he goes ahead and he does a mirror a mirror deployment. Basically, he has one Doom Diver one side, one Doom Diver other, one spider on one side, one spider on the other, one Cave Goblin unit on one side with one Cave Goblin on the other. So he basically does that. Now, deploying, as you can see, I'm going to show you. Well, I'll show you this side still. The building's kind of in the direct center. It is in the direct center. It is right in our way for most of our shit. So more or less, I put the dogs, or I'm sorry, I put the chariots basically with ramming potential right in that gut. So if anything gets close enough, I'm going to go ahead and ram it. Zod same, Crom the same. I kept the common goblins outside of the forest so that way I don't ever have to lose steadfast, but at the same time I want to keep close enough where I'm going to shoot stuff and not let it bother me. Thinking back about this, I probably should have reversed it. I probably should have kept my common goblins in the center with that gut to shoot, and then my chariots threatening his spider if his spider gets close enough. Thinking back, hindsight 2020. Now I do have Koopa and the A-Rock on the right of this picture. You cannot see them in the picture. They are protecting the flank, or supposed to be protecting the flank of my common goblins. And then over on this side, I made the biggest boneheaded move. The biggest boneheaded move. I put my forest goblins here, and the reasoning for that was because Baxter has pyromancy, and one thing that this guy has is he has a pyromancy wizard and he has a BSB. And my whole goal is, most of them, they basically are almost naked, pretty much almost naked. I think the BSB has like a 5-up armor, alright? Maybe a 4-up armor. But what I'm thinking is, if I could hit the unit with enveloping embers, I could start picking out wounds on both of those characters. Alright, granted, he could probably do the same thing to me. But I don't think he got enveloping embers. I don't think he did. So that's what I was thinking. Then I was also thinking, haha, I could hit his war machines with those level 1 pyromancy, pyroclastic flows. You know? So a small one could reach the war machine, start to damage the war machines, kill both of them, right? Now, here's where it's a big boneheaded move, alright? There's a giant rock behind me. I repeat, there is a giant rock behind me. I cannot actually retreat backwards if he pushes with that spider. And I see it because it's going to go ahead and start off turn 1, Orcs and Goblins, Danny turn 1. Danny turn 1, I Vanguard up with my dogs, and the first thing he does is he moves up. Not only the spider, but also this guy right here. This giant freaking feral orc warlord on a boar with the axe of apocalypse. And I'm just like, shit. Now I'm thinking, man, my goblins are fucked. That's all I kept on thinking over and over. My goblins are fucked. My goblins are fucked. I'm going to have to flee. I'm going to have to flee. So he goes ahead and he starts moving his stuff around the building to the right side, which makes sense, more or less. This spider starts going this way. Basically, his goblins stay this way. He kind of keeps it where he's protecting his own side. He doesn't think I'm going to go forward. He's going to just kind of shoot me at the time. I think that's both of us are playing the shooting game. Magic phase, he got 7 power dice. Goes ahead and he does a pyroclastic flow. He fails, or I stop it. Then he goes ahead and he does a scorching salvo. It goes off. I think I actually tried to stop it, but I just failed to stop it. It only killed off 2 forest goblins and 1 wolf rider. I'm okay with that. And then shooting, he's going to keep shooting at my forest goblins, kill off a couple more. The war machines, the Doom Diver misfires. The splatter, I think, hits my common goblins but doesn't kill many. Doesn't really matter. Not much happened else other than that. It's going to go ahead and start off turn 1, Orcs and Goblins. ChiHammer, turn 1. ChiHammer, turn 1. So, I'm like, fuck, I got to get my forest goblins out of there. So what I do is I ended up moving them this way. I started sliding them to the right. Now, part of my goal here is to keep Zod close enough where they're going to, when they flee from the spider, they'll overrun, or they'll run away towards Zod, and then they'll rally on Zod's turn. And also, the other thing I'm doing is I'm chaffing up his Feral Orc Warlord. If his Feral Orc Warlord charges forward, he's going to have to overrun because he's frenzy, and I'll be able to flank charge him with Zod, Crom, or the chariots. Or I could combo Zod and the chariots and leave Zod out of it so he doesn't get a chance to challenge me, and that way he's going to be fighting Crom and the chariots. Crom will hold steadfast, and basically he's going to have to deal with the impact hits and all that crap, right? That's my goal, alright? Let's see how it plays off. It gives me 1 chance to save my forest goblins. Now, I move Koopa, and part of the thing is, now that I move Zod far out of the range to make sure that I could keep my forest goblins alive, my common goblins are out of the terror range. of Zod, or leadership range for Zod. So if he charges into my common goblins and gets in and does X amount of wounds, I'm probably gonna lose because he's gonna be minus. I'm gonna be -1 leadership, and I'll probably have the BSB reroll, but whatever. So what I end up thinking of is I end up throwing Koopa into the unit of common goblins, and I'm thinking that'll give him that extra pip of leadership. Yeah, keep the A-Rock there. Now the A-Rock's looking at his spider kind of like it's a Mexican standoff here. They're basically even matched. It's the same fucking monster. Of course they're even matched. So hopefully that if he comes this way, I'm going to be able to kill him with my spider, or vice versa, whatever. It's just supposed to be a spider standoff. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead, and I think that's about it, really. Magic Phase got 8 power dice. Go ahead and I do a Scorching Salvo, and I end up doing a wound onto the spider. I end up killing off a couple goblins. That's all that really happens. Go ahead and I do a small Pyroclastic Flow. Get the freaking Catapult. Catapult scares me because it could do damage to my spider, basically. So I end up getting 3 wounds off on that, and I'm excited about that. I'm like, it's a good start. Way to go, Baxter and the boys. So Baxter's going to go ahead and shoot at the fucking spider, and boom! Puts on another wound onto the spider. I'm like, alright, keep it going. You guys are doing good. You guys are doing good. Over here, the common goblins are going to start shooting at his, I think just at his horde, because I think it was just out of range for most things. Kill off a couple bodies. And it's going to go ahead and start off his turn. Turn 2. Danny's Orcs and Goblins. Danny's Orcs and Goblins. Oh, man. So, he charges me. Okay? And I'm thinking to myself, like, flee. Okay? I mean, first off, he wants to tear me, and I'm like, they're not terrible because they have freaking Banner of Discipline, but I flee anyways. And now, we measure it. Okay? I'm going to be honest with you. We measure it, and just say it was 13 inches. Okay, because I don't remember the exact measurement, but let's just say it was 13 inches. If it was 13 inches from tip to tip, that's before I pivot. Okay, so now that I chose to flee, I turn it from center to center, which changes the tip to tip, and then I run just behind the rock, right? Now that's a 3-inch flee, okay? Which that sucked. I mean, like literally, I needed anything higher than a 3. Anything higher than a 3. But now, if you measure from his tip to the closest edge of, or closest like tip to my guys, it's a 19. All right, and I even think I'm cutting myself short here because that display or tray is a little bit bigger than what it should be. But anyways, so he needs a 19. He didn't want to agree to that. He was like, no, you ran 3 inches, you're 16. I was like, no, man, like, it's a huge freaking tray, so when I spin around, it changes how far you need to get to me. So right now, center to center, you're going to need a 19, which is a double 6s on his dice, right? The motherfucker rolls double 6s. I am not fucking kidding you. Are you fucking kidding me? God damn it! Oh my god, as you can see, his Feral Orc Warlord just walks away from my goblins. Oh my god. Are you kidding? And now this is not where it stops. This is where the pain begins. Holy shit, he charges the other spider into my common goblins, gets in, boom, right over here. Oh my god. And basically, as you can see, he just starts kind of moving up. He's advancing up. Magic Phase, he got 10 power dice, goes ahead and hits these guys with a fireball. Hits this guy with the Scorching Salvo. Hits these guys with both the Fireball and the Scorching Salvo or some shit like that. Kills off a bunch of my chariots. Starts shooting at my chariots. Kills off the rest of my chariots. Holy fuck. He just killed Baxter. He just killed the Bushwhackers. He just killed the K-Pack. He goes into close combat and he fucking kills Bazooka. Are you fucking kidding me? Holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, he literally went and used all the spider's dice, like all the spider attacks onto the BSB. Now, the BSB luckily had parry up, so get a bunch of parry attacks, right? He misses a bunch of them, but then he goes ahead and I don't fail fear either, so it didn't really matter if I parry or up, not. But then he goes ahead and gets a bunch of wounds through, and I'm like, well, I got your armor save, so it's a 4-up armor save going to a 6. I actually rolled 2 6s, so Baxter lives, or Bazooka lives for a turn, but then his goblins attack, and his goblins ended up killing Bazooka. Holy fuck. So I ended up putting like another wound or two. I put 2 wounds onto him, but at the same time I did that, he thunderstomps, he kills a couple more. I think I win combat, he sticks because he's a stubborn 6. Motherfucker. That was rough. I mean, he put wounds on Crom, he fucking killed the K-Pack, he killed Baxter, he killed Bazooka. Holy shit. And it's going to start off my turn. ChiHammer turn 2. ChiHammer turn 2. I'm thinking to myself, like, I need a Hail Mary here. So first thing I do, I call it the Wog. Because why not? I mean, like, right now, I'm just thinking to myself, like, I don't know what to do. I got to get rid of his blocks so they don't break through. I'm actually thinking to myself, like, okay, if you can see this picture here, Zod could take care of that spider on the left. He has to. All right. As you can see, I reformed with my goblins and I put Koopa touching his tip. Now we had this whole conversation where we're trying to figure out which tip to which tip kind of a deal, like, you know, or like who's gonna move first, who's gonna reform first, and he's like, I'll let you reform first, and he did that. So that way he could basically I forgot why he was going to do that, but basically he was trying to avoid Koopa, I think. I want to say he was trying to avoid Koopa, but since he gave me the choice of reforming first, I made sure he's touching Koopa, and now he cannot take Koopa out of combat. So basically he's like, well, fuck it, I'm just stuck there. Now, I charged Crom in. I don't know why. I mean, like, thinking back about it, a lot of the choices I made in this game, I'm thinking back, like, why did I do this? But I charged Crom into his Orcs, and I'm hoping that I could potentially break his unit or hold up his unit or whatever. Okay, if I can hold up his unit, then the A-Rock comes in. That's awesome. If not, don't worry about it. Crom's gonna do great on his own. And one thing is, I don't want to just sit back and get shot. That's basically what happens because I failed the charge. All right, I believe I moved my common goblins closer, or cave goblins closer, so I could throw the fanatics out, hit the spider, hit my unit, and then I end up killing them, which I believe that's exactly what happened. I moved Zod close enough where he's going to have to take a march check. Also where Zod is threatening his butt end of his feral orc warlord over here. I start moving my black orcs up towards the objective because part of it was due to the fact that what happened to me on game 1 where I asked Charlie, and Charlie's like, just go for the objective, make him sweat it out. If you get there, you get there. If you don't, you don't. Alright. Magic phase, don't even know how many dice I got. I think I only have 3 dice. I go ahead and I do a Bewitching Glare, hoping that this fucker could fail some stupidity checks. And I get it off, but he stops it. Close, or shooting, I go ahead, yeah, I did. I threw out the Cownado, I threw out the Fanatic, and it goes through and only does 1 more wound onto his spider. Kills off 3 of my guys. Motherfuckers. So close combat. Oh my god. Close combat. I go ahead and I do Koopa's attacks. I mean, he you know, of course he causes fear or whatever, but I pass it because Koopa's there. Thank God for Koopa. I go ahead and I do all the attacks with Koopa, and holy shit, Koopa and Peggy were like, poison, 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 poison. Boom! Just took out the fucking spider. Spider went back and killed off a bunch of my goblins, though. Didn't touch Koopa. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this unit anymore. Like, this unit lost its potential of combat res because I don't have that many ranks. I mean, I do have ranks. Obviously, I can fill in the blanks there. But at the same token, like, I don't have the BSB or the War Banner anymore. And I'm just like, oh, this sucks. This really... And I think he killed a bunch of my... I think he did. I think he killed a couple of my Shady Gits, too. I have 1 left, it looks like. What the fuck? I don't know what to do. This guy's kicking my ass. It's going to go ahead and start off turn 3. Turn 3. Danny's Orcs and Goblins. Danny's Orcs and Goblins. He fails his march check on the spider. Great. So he tries to back up away from Zod. He moves his feral orc warlord closer to my black orcs because he's going to eventually charge him, and then he's basically just going to try to shoot me to death now. Magic phase, he got 8 power dice. Goes ahead, looks like he did a fireball here, kills a couple. He's trying to panic these guys. I don't let it happen. So he does a Scorching Salvo, still good. And then I stop his Enveloping Embers, I believe it was. Shooting phase over here. It looks like his Rock Lava misfire, but his Doom Diver, one of them is broke for the game, as you can tell by it's flipped over. The other one shoots, I believe. Yeah, that one broke for the game. The other one shoots at my Black Orcs, ends up killing off 4 of my Black Orcs. Whew. Okay, or 5 of my Black Orcs. Holy shit. And that's about it. It's going to go ahead and start off my turn. Orcs and Goblins, ChiHammer turn 3. ChiHammer turn 3. Guys, I'm going to give you a countdown because I've been, last few events I went to, you guys all told me, a few people told me, thank you for the countdowns. It really helps out because on 3, 2, 1. Zod! Zod is going into that spider. Fuck that spider. Fuck it up its stupid ass. Now, granted, I'm fucking over my leadership bubble, but at the same time, I'm like thinking, I have no points. This spider's gonna wreck my day. I don't want it to be here anymore. And granted, I'll charge in, I'll do some impact hits, I'll do some hits with Zod, and I'll cause it to panic on a leadership 6 stubborn. He'll fail. I know he will. Alright. So I go in, Zod gets in, boom, right over there. I keep moving the freaking Black Orcs up. Black Orcs just have to go for the objective. I move the A-Rock up. Now this is another mistake I made, was I moved the A-Rock just a little too close. Just a little too close. She didn't need to be this close. But it looks like Crom charged in. Now, Crom charged in caused a terror check. That's exactly why I wanted the Bewitching Glare. I wanted the Bewitching Glare on his general to cause this leadership bubble to not be so hot, right? So go ahead and I charge in. They fail terror. They're running off that way. And that after I declare that charge, that's why I move the spider up so I can try to push them off the table or flank charge them when they rally. So I moved Koopa up, and I decided to turn my Goblin bus facing the spider going north. Okay? Now, as I'm doing that, I mean, me and him are under the understanding that I am going that way, up north, not facing that way. I just didn't want to deal with taking all the models and rearranging them unless I had to. Koopa's coming this way, and I'm just kind of like, well, we'll see how that goes. Now, Koopa is far enough where his general can't reach Koopa. If his general wants to charge Crom, knock himself out, because it's going to, Crom will be stubborn, right? I don't know what I was doing with my Cave Goblins here. I think I was trying to shoot him or something. I don't even remember. Anyways, Magic Phase got 6 power dice. Go ahead and I do a Bewitching Glare on his general. Anyways, great. I want him to rally less, or have like 1 less leadership for rally. Over here, close combat. Woo! Impact is 2 wounds. Now he goes ahead and, or maybe not even. I don't even think I did any wounds on the impact because he had those 2 wounds. But anyways, Spider goes back, does 1 wound onto Zod. Now, I just realized looking at this picture how crooked that halberd is. Holy shit, I gotta fix that. Anyways. It broke so many times. I can't even count how many times that halberd is broke, so I could fix it again. It doesn't really matter. But Zod goes and he just fucking wrecks face. Zod does like 3 or 4 wounds. I have a charge, a couple wounds. He freaking loses. He runs. Now I put it tip to tip so that way he's running towards the board edge, and he does, and I don't even bother chasing. He runs off the table, and I turn Zod this way. I kind of felt like I should face that Feral Orc Warlord, but at the same time, the scoring unit's more important at the moment, and it's going to be his turn next. He could charge in, and I probably won't be able to catch him, right? So I turn Zod this way, and it's going to go ahead and start off his turn. Danny, turn 4. Danny's Orcs and Goblins, turn 4. He calls out the Wog. Woo! He needs to roll, I think, like a 5 on 3 dice Swift Stride to get to my Black Orcs. He fails it. I am not shitting you. He needed a 5, and he rolled a 4. Holy crap. But he charges it to Crom over here. Crom's just like, bring it! Alright. Now, honestly, this guy right here, his Warlord, is majority of my fear at the moment. Because the rest of the Goblins and the Orcs, I don't care too much. The War Machines kind of scare me, but at the same time, this guy right here has the potential of just flying around killing who he wants to kill, right? So now that he's tied up with Crom, he's still going to have to wound Crom on 6s, so I'm not too worried. Let's see how that goes. And then, as you can see, he does rally his guys. His Cave Goblins turn around to face the Spider, and that's where I didn't realize at this moment I fucked up. Magic Phase! He got 5 power dice, goes ahead and does a Scorching Salvo, does, I think, a wound to the Spider. Yes, a wound to the Spider. He does a Flaming Swords onto his general, which I really tried to stop, but I just couldn't. And then Shooting Phase. He releases the Fanatics this way, does 1 wound onto Zod that sticks. Then he goes ahead. Now, guys, I quote, or not really quote, but I'm just going to be clear on this. Well, it is a quote. He says, "I can't find my other 2 Fanatics." I said, "No problem. Use mine. mine are done for the game because I killed him earlier on purpose. So I go ahead and I give him both my fanatics. He's going to go ahead and use the fanatics to shoot through my spider, gets to the other side, and he racks up fucking 6 wounds. Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ! How come whenever I do this to somebody, it does like a wound or 2, but when he did it to me, it did 6 fucking wounds? Jesus fucking Christ. Now, I'm going to point this out here right now. This is the last known whereabouts of the Cownado. Again, this is the last known whereabouts of the Cownado, because after this, if you notice in this picture, he has a dead pile. My goblins kind of get confused in that dead pile and disappear. Alright. We already know, we've already confirmed with Danny that he has my goblins, my fanatics. Not saying that he took them on purpose, it's just the fact that it got mixed in there, and then, you know, it's easy to miss. I mean, it's a fucking cow. How's it that easy to miss? Anyways, turn 4, ChiHammer turn 4. Jesus Christ. I charged Zod in. I charged the cave goblins in. I'm going to try to kill his cave goblins, okay? Obviously, he did 1 wound onto Crom. He was expecting to break me and then start chasing my cave goblins. I rolled my steadfast check, and he's like, "You're not stubborn." I go, "I know, I'm steadfast. I have a monster rank to your flying creature, bitch." Boom! Koopa! Koopa went into the rear of those goblins. Now, this is another mistake I made. I should have went for the A-Rock into the same goblins, but now the A-Rock only has 1 wound left, and I was kind of like, I should probably kill those war machines and get off the table, because that's what happened to me again the High Elf game. The High Elf game, I didn't run the A-Rock off the table, and it cost my team a point. This time, if I would have just charged into his cave goblins, I don't think he would have done that wound, and I would have got a point. Oh man, hindsight is 2020. I swear, hindsight is 2020. I don't know. This game was tough, and as you can see, there's like, you could kind of tell there's more people gathering around the table. This game, I am not shitting, I am not lying. Towards the end of this game, there was about 30 to 40 people, maybe even 50 people surrounded our table. My dad got to the point because my dad was watching our game, and we were the last players to play I think that day. Anyways, that's part of the reason why there were so many people watching. But my dad got to the point because my dad was the coach, and he was telling me, "James, if you need me to move the people away from here, let me know, because I'll move the people away." So my common goblins are just moving on up. They're just ignoring everything, going for that objective, right? The A-Rock's going to run off the table after killing the Doom Diver. Koopa's eventually going to hold. Now, part of the reason why I charged Koopa in is because he has those orcs where there are 5 orcs in the front, but there's a goblin to the left of them, or the top part of them, closest to the A-Rock, which that goblin makes them slightly over 5 inches. Well, he barely has a 5-inch gap between the corner to the unit that's fighting Koopa. Okay, so if he cannot reform or if he can't get out of the way, which he technically can't, he cannot charge the flank of Koopa. So I got 2 or 3 turns to just pop this unit, and then if I don't by then, I'm SOL. Okay, I kind of saw that. He didn't see it. And I think that's about it. I keep moving my black orcs up because his guy kept missing the charge. Oh man, and I feel like I'm missing something else, but let's go over here. Magic Phase! Magic Phase got 12 power dice. I wish I had my Pyromancy. So in this picture, by the way, you can't see it in this picture. His BSB is hiding behind the building. Now his BSB has the Crown of the Cavern King that gives him a boosted 18-inch bubble. So where he's hiding at is giving him a huge bubble of leadership range, right? Which is great for him. All right. Now, the way I have it is, if Koopa panics his unit, basically he's going to run through the spider off the table, and that's kind of what I want, and I could turn Koopa around ready to face my danger there. But anyways, I'm jumping ahead. Magic Phase, I go ahead and I do a Raven's Wing. I pick up my cave goblins, I move my cave goblins. Again, I made a major mistake. I go ahead and I move them where I can't really charge because Zod's in the way. I just need to angle them just a little different, and I would have been able to get in that charge for the following turn, right? But part of my sight here is, my foresight is that if he kills Crom this turn, I'm shit out of luck. I am shit out of luck. So I'm just trying to get past that building with my cave goblins, start working on the breakthrough, just deal with it, right? The other problem here is if his cave goblins just shift over towards the left, he'll be in my breakthrough zone, even though Zod's in combat with them. So Zod needs to break this unit. Anyways, get a Raven's Ring off, and I put the attribute onto my common goblins. I did something else. I gave it to that common goblin. So the common goblins have enough plus movement to just march across the table on the next turn. And it's going to go ahead and start off his turn. Danny turn 5. Danny turn 5. Well, as you can see here, Zod has been killing goblins. There were 30. Now there's like 29. Or not even 19. Excuse me. 19. So he's killing goblins. He's going to go ahead and charge into the Black Orcs again. I think eventually he makes it. He does. Eventually he makes it. Crom looks like he took another wound from the last round of combat. My spider ran off the table, so he can't shoot me for that turn. He just basically he tries to charge Koopa. Koopa killed a bunch. I mean, killed a bunch. I think that roll, I am not shitting you. That roll, I went 7 for 7. Koopa has 4 attacks. Peggy has 3 and a stomp. I did all 8 wounds, and he was like, are you fucking kidding? I'm like, well, dude, he's fighting common goblins. Like, what do you expect? But at the same time, it was just an impressive roll. So he's like, he has to kill Koopa. So he tries to charge into the flank of Koopa, and I pulled out the, nope, you are too big to fit. And he's just like, what? So he goes ahead and he spends his turn to rearrange just a bit, and that's how it looks. At this point, he's getting a little frustrated, just a little, which is fine. I mean, the beginning of the game, I got my ass kicked. Looks like he failed that charge. Magic Phase got 7 power dice, goes ahead and he does Flaming Swords again, and I keep trying to fucking stop the spell, and it just won't stop! Jesus Christ. Close combat over here, I kill another 6 guys. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? Keeps passing his leadership check, though. Over here, it looks like the Fanatic went through again into Zod, ends up putting a wound onto Zod, and then Zod is just ripping apart his cave goblins. Over here, close combat. It's the end of Crom. Dun, dun, dun. Crom! Crom is dead. Oh, this is a scary situation. It's going to go ahead and start off my turn. I don't even have a picture of it. God damn, it's my turn. Orcs and Goblins turn. ChiHammer turn 5. So I'm going to find another picture. I have to look for another picture here. Okay, I'm going to show you this last picture. Crom's still alive in this picture, but he is obviously dead. He reforms to face the flank of my cave goblins. My cave goblins can't charge into his cave goblins because I didn't give enough space between them and Zod. Whew. He's about, I think, like a 19 inches away from Zod, which, you know, okay, or maybe even 20 inches. I don't remember. It was a pretty far charge to get to Zod himself. So basically, my cave goblins need protection from his general, which his general will just rip apart my cave goblins. So I'm figuring, I call my timeout. I call Charlie over. Charlie, what the fuck do I do? Obviously, my common goblins are going to move up to his leadership, or to his breakthrough zone. He can't get me. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Alright. I go, problem is with the cave goblins, I'm so down in points right now. I mean, he still has majority of the points. I don't think I killed 2 spiders. That's all in a war machine. I haven't killed much else. He's killed a good chunk of my army. So he goes, why don't you just reform and walk through? I go, I could. Well, he gives me the advice first to just move the wizard out and basically let him choose between the wizard or the unit. That way I could save points. And I go, I have a better idea. I think I could try to walk through. So I quick reform. I try to march through that gap. Okay? He could still see my ass. He could still see from his dragon into my cave goblins. I'm like, alright, cool. But I have 2 magic spells that could potentially stop that. Alright, so let's go into Magic Phase. Magic Phase, I got 7 power dice. Okay? Gonna go to another picture again. Back to this picture here. First thing I do is I throw Stupidity. I threw Bewitching Glare onto his general. He looks at it, he thinks about it, he thinks about it, he thinks about it, he grabs all his dice. Now I threw like 3 or 4 dice at it. I think I rolled a 7 for the thing, and then I got a channel, so I had a 4 and 4 on my plan there. So I roll 4 dice, and he looks at it, he just throws all 5 of his dice. He's like, I don't want to deal with Stupidity, because that could potentially ruin his day. So then I have this giant grin on my face. I grab the dice and I go boosted Raven's Wing, and I throw it and I pick up my unit and I throw him forward past the building on a line of sight of his wyvern. Okay? But then I spin him around, make him too wide, and now I'm facing his BSB. And all of a sudden, let's go into shooting phase, and BRAK! I shot the fuck out of his BSB. He was first he stops me and he goes, "You can't turn. You went further than 10 inches." I go, "I did not go further from 10 inches. It says it specifically on there. You could reform before and after the pivot, or after the magical move," which I did. And it's a flying magical move too, so you could definitely move. Spin around. It's not pounding drumbeat. It is Raven's Wing, right? So I pick up my unit, I turn him around, and then he started arguing that the pivot was illegal, that the shooting was illegal, that everything was illegal to kill his BSB. And I'm just like, no. And I even showed him the magic card. On the magic card, it says you get to, doesn't affect shooting, and you get to reform. He never read that low onto the magic card. He just was like, no, you can't do it. And I was just like, okay, man. Now, granted, again, there's like 20 or 30 people watching this game, or more. I think it was more. I think it was closer to 40 or 50 people watching this game. There's a picture, I think my dad has it on his phone, but of everybody watching this game as it's going on, because there's just so many people watching. It was awesome. So I shot the fuck out of this guy. Now it's going to start off his turn. Turn 6. Danny Kamara goes Orcs and Goblins. Danny turn 6. Well, like I show you over here, Zod has just been ripping apart this unit. He can't get into my deployment zone. I mean, I think he still can, but it's getting less and less chances to get into this deployment zone over here. So he decides he's going to call out charge here into Koopa. Koopa, I mean, he finally reformed, finally moved the guy to the other side. He's eventually going to get into Koopa. Koopa was unable to break that unit. This really, really, really sucks. And he's going to play it right. He's going to go ahead and charge in and give me a challenge, and Koopa has to deal with the challenge. That sucks. Okay. Spider's back on the table. He's going to go ahead and finish that charge. Now, this charge here. This charge here. Oh, man. Let's see. Yep. Let's see. Yep. You can see it in this picture. All right, cool. I'm going to flash back and forth on this picture. This picture here. He charges into Zod. He's like, well, fuck it. I'm facing this way. I'll charge into Zod. He needs, I think, like an 11. Now, the problem is, you try to measure it with a measuring tape from closest to closest edge, which is the edge closest to the building to my edge closest to the goblins. It is almost impossible to fit the freaking tape measure there. So we're trying, and then I'm like, just roll the dice, see if it matters. And he rolls the dice, and it's on the number we're arguing. So I'm like, you need an 11. He goes, oh, I need a 10. I'm in. I'm like, no, you need 11. So then we're trying to measure it. And he picks up the building, and he moves the building up. In this picture, you could see. Okay? Look. Picture here, buildings here, picture here, buildings a little bit more north. Alright. He failed the charge. Alright. He leaves the building there. Alright. So now, we're about to go into shooting phase, and he looks at it, and he goes, wait a second. Your guys weren't able to shoot my BSB hiding behind the building because you can't even see past the building. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I didn't even think. Honestly, I'm an honest person. I'm a very honest person. As you guys can tell, most of you guys hate my battle reports because I'm probably trash talking your games because I'm that honest. I'm pointing out the things that you guys do. But I'm an honest person to the point where I wouldn't cheat on purpose, you know? So I'm thinking to myself, like, no, I had a clear line of sight with everybody. I'm pretty sure I had a clear line of sight with everybody. And he's like, no, the building's in the way. And I'm thinking to myself, like, did I make a mistake? Did I play this guy wrong? What did I do wrong? How did I do this? It doesn't make any sense. I don't want, like, especially at ETC level, like, I'm not trying to pull shitty cheating moves. You know, and he's like, no, you guys could not shoot. I'm going to put my BSB back. And, like, nobody's saying shit. Like, all the people there are like, oh, yeah, the building looks kind of in the way. And my dad is the only one on that table who was like, hey, buddy, you just moved that building out of the way. And then we looked at there's an actual sticker on the table that shows you where all the buildings are supposed to be and all the terrain. And I, like, measured it out. I go, yeah, you moved it because we measured where the wyvern was. And he goes, oh yeah, okay, never mind. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyways, these guys charge into Koopa. Magic phase, he gets 4 power dice. I don't know what happened. I don't know what this picture is over here, but he goes ahead and he does a Scorching Salvo. It kills the spider. This picture, okay, Koopa over here. He challenges with the champ. I kill the champ. I think I have like a kill in 3 wounds or 2 wounds. I didn't do that much. I only did like 2 or 3 wounds, right? So he's obviously going to win combat. He has a charge, a flank, a big flank, 3 ranks, a banner, probably another banner. So he's like at 8 combat res versus my 3. I'm down by 5. I roll it. I fail it. There's no BSB nearby. I'm going to run. Now, granted, right now, as of right now, Koopa is far enough from the common goblins to not cause a panic. You can see the common goblins on the other side of the rock. Now, here's where another question of hell was raised. Koopa's gonna run. Here's the picture at the end. Okay, Koopa's gonna run. I probably should go back to this picture over here. Sorry, I'll leave it on this picture. Center to center from the biggest unit, which is the unit in my flank. I'm gonna run crooked, but I'm gonna run into the rocks. So what ends up happening is, and this is going to be for everybody to know. Everybody to know, because this happens a lot on UB. On UB, it's easier to figure out than on a real table, especially with real terrain that's sticking up. But what happens is, I flee. I roll the dice, and say I roll a 7, which is about average on 2 dice. Well, 3 dice would be 9, but I roll a 7, alright? So what happens is, even though if he catches Koopa, which he does, he catches Koopa with one of the units, alright? I have to measure where my final point was. So even though I'm running in a diagonal from the center of the big unit through Koopa towards the top of the rock, I think I only ran like 5 inches, to be honest. It ends somewhere in the middle of that rock, on the top middle of that rock. Okay? So that means that is my final spot, and both of his units pivot towards that final spot and run towards that no matter what they roll, which means that both of his units will run into the rock. Okay? He was not happy about that. He was not happy about that. He's like, no, I'm running to the flank of your goblins. And I go, that is impossible. That is impossible. There's impassable terrain there, and the direction Koopa ran, you're going to hit the rock. Man, did it take a while to explain that one. Oh my god, did it take a while to explain that one. But eventually, that's basically how it was rolled. And again, this game was stressful, but at the same time, it was probably one of the most fun games I've ever had, because it required so much thought. It required so much tactics, and if I didn't have as much practice as I do, this guy would have steamrolled me. I mean, he would have steamrolled me. But it's going to go ahead and start off turn 6, Orcs and Goblins. ChiHammer turn 6. ChiHammer turn 6. Zod wipes out the rest of the unit, and that is the end of the game. Holy shit, was that a long game. That would top it off. Like I said, there were so many people watching. He was getting annoyed by the fact that I was making a comeback. Because after turn 2, he should have 20-0'd me. After turn 2, he killed my Pyromance, he killed my BSB, he killed basically everything. All I have left is Zod, the common goblins, and the cave goblins, and the prophet. That's it. He eventually caught my black orcs, he killed my black orcs, killed everything else. All I really killed of his was a war machine, a unit of cave goblins that were supposed to score but didn't, because Zod killed them, and both spiders. Besides that, the rest of his army is pretty much unscathed. Oh, and his BSB. So it ends up being, I had 6 points, so he had 14 points. But I got the objective, so it turned into an 11-9, and I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Man, this guy was a tough opponent. I am not taking it away. And then after that game happened, my brother goes, this list looks familiar. And I was like, does it? He goes, yeah. And then like a couple minutes later, my brother goes, oh yeah, the guy said he sees me on newbie. And I was like, oh, I actually fought this guy before. I don't remember what the score was that game. I remember I played my Black Orcs and my Savages, and I remember I had a good move where I charged my Savages into his Savage guy on the boar, and then I challenged with the champ, and I just had like a downhill charge and all that stuff. But besides that, it was a tough game, and it was kind of, It was fun. I really liked this game. It was a lot of fun. It made me think a lot, and made me take risks that I probably wouldn't take again. Um, but at the same time, it's fine. It taught me a valuable lesson, which will come back in the next game, actually, which is don't pin my forest goblins in between a rock and a hard place. An A rock and a hard place. Oh, man. MVP. It's, I'm gonna give it a tie. It's a tie between Koopa and Zod. Even though Koopa didn't get the last unit at the end, at the top there, Koopa made sure my common goblins lived, made sure they didn't panic and tear off the table, killed that A-Rock. So Koopa is definitely the champ here. Koopa did his job. Between Zod killed another spider, Zod killed a scoring unit, and Zod held down the south side. Koopa held down the north side, and Koopa basically ends up dying, though, which cost me more points. Koopa himself probably would have been the 10-10, potentially 11-9 in my favor if he would have killed that unit. But I blame that on myself. I should have charged the spider in with Koopa, and they would have just tore apart those goblins. He probably would have failed on a -2 leadership because he had -1 from Bewitching Glare and -1 from Fear, and he probably would have failed at Steadfast. But that was my fault. That was totally my fault. Man, was that a good game, guys. Anyways, let's go over what my army has. Whoa, what's going on? Yes, turn off my online banking. It's fine. Okay. Let's see. Let's go over, well, first off, let's go over how the team went. So, like I said, I got 9 points, alright? My brother ended up getting a 13-point victory. Like I said, he probably would have had a 17-point victory, but there was like a failed leadership check at the end or something like that. I don't remember. I think it was a failed Steadfast. Anyways, but on Tourney Keeper, it only shows him having 10 points, but what happened was whoever entered the score, it was either my dad or the other coach, they put it was before the objective was added, and then that was like, what the fuck, Dad, you didn't give Jesse his full points. We gave my dad so much shit about that. We're like, Dad, you're putting the points in wrong, you're screwing us, we're trying to win here, Dad. Super Oracle only got 8 points. Charlie got the big old goose egg, 0, and that was partially because that was the one guy he was not supposed to play on their team, and we messed up the scoring, or the pairing. You know what, though? He helped mess up our pairing. He told me to put him against this other guy that my brother fought. And that's what ended up happening. Joseph got 0 points against their Vermin player. Neil got 16. Neil's the big money maker. Neil's in the lead with 56 points for the whole tournament so far out of all of us. Next up is actually Charlie, even though he lost at 48. Then me at 45. Alan got 9 points, which is actually a good chunk of points from Alan. So he's at 20. And then Gardy's got 10 points, which puts him at 36. That was a rough day 2, guys. It was so fucking rough of a day 2. And the funny part is we got 65 points. The funny part is, again, we see people after the tournament, they're like, how'd you guys do? And we're like, oh man, today we fought Italy and Spain. And everybody was like, oh my god, who did you piss off to get both of those guys on the same day? And I was like, I don't know who we pissed off. We pissed off somebody, because somebody gave us two of the hardest teams to deal with. And it was just like, they beat us. But then when we tell them we got 65 and 66 points, they're like, oh shit, you didn't get capped, you did not get capped. And we're like, no, we fought, we went down swinging, we did, and we got some points out of it. And I'm proud to say that. I'm proud that we could walk away from this. Now for my army, as you can see, there wasn't many points pulled in total, but Zod got the total of 800 points this game. 800 points from killing an A-Rock, killing the goblins. Zod, you beast. Koopa got 528. The A-Rock got 200 for a War Machine. Baxter got 180 before he died. Bazooka got 480 before he died. The Bushwhackers only got 60, and the Cownado got 400. Cownado and the Prophets got 400. Woo! Alright, guys, and that's it. The K-Pack Crom, everybody else did do shit. Excuse me. Alright, guys. Well, that is that, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoy making them. If you guys can, hit like, hit subscribe, share my videos, do what you guys can to promote this. Guys, if you really, really like my videos, go to Patreon, sign up on my Patreon. Anything helps. Any donation helps. $1 to $2 a month or anything like that. I feel like I'm what's her name? The girl who does the dog videos. Sarah McLachlan were like, your support can help a child's future, and that's pretty true. I am a child at heart, and my future does depend on these Patreons. Oh man. But anyways, guys, the way I look at it is the Patreons from now on are probably going to help me go to the next year's ETC, which I'm really really looking forward to going to ETC next year in Croatia. But and then that way everything else I make besides the Patreon can help pay back the money I just spent at Spain and London this year. But so you guys support will really help out, and I really appreciate all the patrons I already have. I think you guys are awesome, and I want to give you guys more and more and more content. But now, coming up next, I got 2 more rounds of ETC, and well, 1 and the final. So my next game is against Ukraine, and guys, that's going to be a hell of a game against Vermin Swarm. Can't wait to get it to you guys, and I'll see you next time. So I gave you the MVP, I gave you the Patreon, I gave you the like, share, subscribe. Put in your comments down below. I'd like to hear your comments. I got a new commenter who just recently found my channel, and this guy, Scarlock, he's been commenting on a lot of my older videos, which I find hilarious. But keep it going, guys. I want to see what you guys have to say, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.